all. I, Dr. Namrata Kamre, MIT Art Design and Technology University, present before you all the topic on action research, which is a very important topic for the B.Ed students. This topic is important from two perspectives. They have to carry on a short research related to this. So in my video of how to prepare a research proposal, I have discussed on how you are going to carry on the research related to action research. If you like this video, please subscribe the channel, press the bell icon and share the video. We'll move on to what is action research. What is action research? The definition of action research. Basically, action research, as the name suggests, is the research which is actually put into practice, or which is used to improve the conditions in the classroom. So this research is the research which is used by the teachers in their day-to-day life to improve the practices in the schools. So action research is a process in which participants examine their own educational practice systematically and carefully using the techniques of research. This research can be described as a family of research methodologies which pursue action, that is a change, and research, that is an understanding, at the same time. See, research is basically finding out something new, and in research there are three main types, that is fundamental research, applied research and action research. Out of that, we usually, when we are doing PhD or when we are doing our masters, we go on to do applied research. But when the teachers are going to use this research in their classroom scenario to solve their day-to-day problems of the classroom, we go on to do action research. It is a short research which is being done by the teachers. Now, why action research? Action research give educators new opportunities to reflect on and assess their teaching. So you are going to do action research because it is going to give you an opportunity to assess your own teaching, to explore and test the new ideas, methods and materials, to assess how effective the new approaches were, to share the feedback with the fellow team members, to make the decisions about which new approaches to include in the practice. So that is why action research is needed. For example, in your classroom also, if you are applying a new methodology in the teaching learning process, it is going to help you to give a feedback about the methodology. It is going to help you to understand whether that methodology is useful for the students, how effective it is. So this action research plays an important role over here. Basically, it is participatory in nature. That means you are actively involved, and at the same time the students are also actively involved. It is from within and not from the external expert's eye. Very real presences can emerge in the dynamically unfolding relations which can teach us new ways of conducting our practice. Now, what are the characteristics of action research? Basically, it is an emergent process which takes shape as understanding increases. It is an iterative process which converges towards a better understanding of what happens. It is again participative, that is, change is usually easier to achieve when those affected by the change are involved, and qualitative. Action research is a methodology, which means it provides a framework for approaching a piece of research. It is participant driven and reflective. It is collaborative. It is context specific. Action research is implemented in a classroom by a particular teacher or group of teachers who work together to pursue a change or improvement in their teaching and learning issues. As I discussed earlier in the earlier slide also, that this is a research which is put forth in the classroom by a particular teachers who work together, who wish to develop an improvement in their teaching and learning process. And about the characteristics, as I told you, that it is collaborative because in this research the students and the teachers are working together. It is reflective because here at the same time you are going to come to know how effective your teaching learning method is or how effective your assessment technique is. So you are going to get the feedback immediately and you can reflect upon your own method and you can find out whether it was effective or not effective. That is why this is very important, and it is basically important because it gives a better understanding of what things are happening. So action research is basically a research for the teachers, it is basically for the educators. It helps us to solve our day-to-day problems. Now, what is the scope of action research? Ascertaining the readiness for teaching a particular concept or principle in a particular subject, gender difference in interest towards a subject, reasons of shyness in the classroom for a subject, cause of absenteeism in a subject, performance of children in a particular subject with or without private tuition, comparison of performance in a subject of normal children with those belong to disadvantaged groups. See, the scope of action research is basically wide, it is very wide, because it is going to deal with everyday new problems which are arising in the classroom situation. So here whatever scope I have listed is limited. You can come across a different problem, and which can be a scope of action research as well. See, effect of incentives on the development of improvised aids in a particular subject. Teachers' problem in teaching a particular subject in primary, secondary and senior secondary schools, because obviously there are a lot of problems involved in the education. There are a lot of problems. If I want to implement a particular teaching learning methodology, then it is not easy for me. There will be some problems which are coming across. So action research is going to provide me solution towards that problem. Quality of teacher-pupil interaction and pupils' interest in the learning of the subjects, teacher's personality and teacher-pupil interaction, comparison of quality of interaction in classes of a particular subject taken by male and female teachers. Yes, that can also be a topic of study, like whether what is the difference in the quality. Is it observed that the teaching learning is different with respect to the male teachers or with respect to the female teachers? So a comparative study can be done on that also. Teachers applying experience gained by them in service training in a particular subject. Yes, even that can be a research. School climate, that is infrastructure, factors related to school climate. Does school climate affect the teaching learning process of the child? Changing sitting order in the classroom and span of attention in involving mathematics problems. This is another problem, obviously, because I remember that at times students face difficulty in the maths class, and then at times it happens that when the students are on the last bench and they don't understand, then the maths teacher will say that please come forward, please come on the first bench. So even that may be a problem, or it may be a solution of understanding the mathematics problems. All this can be found out using action research. Effect of closed and open air classrooms on increasing interest in a particular subject. Yes, that is also important. The environmental factors, that whether you have kept the classroom open, whether the classroom is breezy, or whether it is in a whether all the doors and windows are closed and the students are feeling suffocated, and the light is not proper. So all these things may affect the interest of the child. So this also is the study in the action research. Changing time of mathematics period and interest of students in mathematics learning in the class. Management of classroom activities with children of wide-ranging abilities, pupils' performance on different types of test items on the same content areas of a particular subject. Effects of peer teaching on the attainment of mastery learning. Yes, this is also important, because at times what happens, students may not learn very well with the teachers, but then when they are sitting in a group or when they are learning with their peers, maybe they can master the content very well. Effect of different remedial measures in removing the learning difficulties. Yes, remedial classes which are there, which are being taken in most of the schools, whether these remedial classes are effective in removing the learning difficulties. So as of now, we have discussed about the definition of action research, we have discussed the characteristics of action research, we have discussed the scope of action research, and now we will move on to the steps in conducting the action research. The details, these are just the steps which are there. The details I have, as I told, I have mentioned, or I have explained in my video on how to prepare a research proposal. Now, what are the steps in conducting the studies? The first and foremost steps is identifying the topic of research. That is, see, all these things you are going to do when you are going to prepare your own action research. So first thing, you are going to identify the topic of research. You are going to give the title to your research. After giving the title, you are going to make a problem statement. That means a statement of problem. Now obviously you are going to identify a topic which is very close to you or which generates an interest for you. For example, you can do a research on why there is so much of absenteeism in the class during the maths period, or why the students are not interested in attending the maths lecture. Then you can do a research on whether you are used cooperative learning technique in science method, whether that learning technique is effective. So all these things you can use, or you can identify the topic and you can make the title of your research and the problem statement. Now when you have identified a topic, you have to do a review of related literature. Now a review of related literature in a very simple terms for your understanding, I will just say that whatever topic you select, you have to see whether the researches have been done related to that topic. At your level, I will not advise you to refer very big researches or the PhD thesis and all, but then you can refer to the MEd dissertations, master's dissertations, some research papers, some journals, some newspaper articles, some books. All these you can do a review related to your title of research. Then you are going to make your objectives, your hypothesis and assumptions of the study. All these I have discussed in detail in that video. Then you have to decide upon the research design of the study. What will be the research design? See, there are different types of research designs what you are going to use, whether you are going to use a survey, whether you are going to use an experiment, what you are going to use, that you are going to decide. And then you are going to prepare the tools for the research as per the objective. Now when you have put up the objective, you are also going to decide that what tool are you going to use. Tool means how will you collect the data, that whether you are going to ask the questions, or you are going to prepare a questionnaire, you are going to prepare a rating scale, you are going to use the checklist, you are going to interview, you are going to develop a program. What you are going to do, that will be your tool for the research. Then whenever you are preparing those tools, you are going to give the tools to the experts. Here the experts means you can give it to the professors who are there in your own university or your own college, and you can get it checked from them. Then after the experts have checked it, they have given you some feedback, they have given you some remarks, then you will finalize those tools, you will collect the data, you will analyze the data. Now there are different ways of analyzing the data, that also I have discussed in that video. But then simple thing is, you can take out mean, then you can take out standard deviation, you can do percentage analysis. So simple things you will do for analyzing the data. After you have analyzed the data, you will write what are the findings of your study, and you will write the conclusions of the study. Then you will write what do you recommend, and what are your suggestions for the further study, and of course the bibliography, which is the references which you are going to refer when you are going to do the study. So in this way you are going to prepare PPT. You are going to prepare a proposal on the action research, and after you prepare the proposal, you are also going to do in detail your research in the stipulated time which is given to you, and you are going to write the report of that particular research. So how you are going to do the research proposal, what are the steps which I discussed over here, all the steps are in detail discussed in my video of how you will prepare the research proposal. So please refer to that video. Thank you very much.